Hello, friends. This is Alia Jamal, the love coach, coming here for another love circle. And today we are talking about processing your emotions. Most adults, we are emotionally numb. We are going through the motion of life completely disconnected with our body, with our heart, with our emotions, what's going on. Nowadays, we are becoming more aware of I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling anxiety, I'm feeling afraid, but most of the time we stop there. We don't know what to do with it. Another thing we are very good at doing is numbing our emotions, running away from them, finding something else to satisfy whatever our need is, and that is called instant gratification. So we could be using food for instant gratification. If I'm feeling sad, it's so much better to just have a cup of ice cream or a tub of ice cream or some chocolate. We are going for binge watching Netflix. Sometimes travel becomes our way of running away from our emotions. Sometimes work can become running away from our emotions. Sometimes it could be all kind of substance abuse that we go through now that we live in a world where everything is easily available. And if we have the money, it's so much easier to go just buy a bottle or a packet and just eat it and pass out and forget about how you're feeling. But when we engage in those instant gratification behaviors, whether it's food, whether food is your drug or you're actually taking a pharmaceutical level drug or whatever other level drug, what is happening? We are staying disconnected with our self. And what is self? That is our soul. Any emotion is a messenger from our soul. Your soul is saying, hey, pay attention to this. But if we don't understand that communication, that kind of signal that is coming to us, and when we are taught by the society, emotions are bad, dysfunctional people have emotions, you need to be calm headed, you need to be cool headed, why you're getting so stressed. When we get those kind of messages, then we completely disregard our emotions. So what we are going to do today, we are going to understand a little bit about what emotions are. What can it do for you when you don't process it and you stay in that numb phase, which is not a beautiful picture? And what can you do? I have about 6-step process that you can follow to process any emotion, to even connect with them, to learn from them, and to grow from them. But most importantly, understand the message that's coming from your soul. So you might have heard of this term. Energy is emotion, energy in motion. But it's very important to understand that we have a physical body, then you have an etheric body, which is the vibration coming from your cells. It creates a field around you. Then we have an emotional body. Then we have mental body. Mental bodies where all the thoughts are stored. Emotional bodies where all the emotions are stored. Now, when something happened, our emotions don't just come out of nowhere. There's always a trigger. When something happened, it's kind of like you throw a pebble in still water, it creates ripple. Based on what that is, it will create a very specific ripple in your emotional body. And you will feel sad, angry, depressed, frustrated, hopeful, in love, at peace. Something is happening that's creating that emotion within you. Now, good emotions, high emotions, we embrace them, we enjoy them. But the problem is the low emotions, the lower vibrations. We run away from them, we numb them. So, this is generally what we do. If I'm feeling sad, I'll look around in my life, I'll be like, that there's no room to feel sad. So, I'm just going to force myself to put a smile or just get so busy that numb myself that I forget about what I'm sad about. So most of us adults, we are too busy and we don't even have time to sit with ourselves and focus on what's going on within me and try to resolve it, because that is a skill most of us are lacking. Never taught, never learned. We don't even know it exists or there's something like that. When we stay in that space of numbed emotions, disconnected from our emotions, beside having psychological, physical, and of course, spiritual side effects of that, not good ones, we also feel empty inside because there's no connection with the other part of me. There's no connection with the non-physical self. Non-physical self is telling you, hey, here's a message. And I turn off my radio. I'm like, I don't even want to hear that message. I'm just going to stay here and work for next 6 hours. I don't want to even feel it. That is what's going on. Whenever there is a trigger, and we are, of course, going to work with low emotions. No one wants to talk about how did you become happy. We just want to be happy and we just want to stay there. So let's say right now, something happened. I'm feeling sad. In between that, I created a story in my head that made me feel sad. So my soul is sending me a message, pay attention to what's going on, that now you're off from your center. So center is right here. That is where peace, love, and joy is. Sad is somewhere here. I'm off my center. That is just an indication or a signal from my soul. Something is off. Look at it. Now, if I don't look at it, what happens? We are such complex beings. There are parts of my body that are associated with very specific emotions. Now, if I don't focus on sadness, if I don't process through it, if I don't pay attention to what's going on in my mind, what kind of stories I'm telling myself, a very specific organ in my body that is hosting that sadness gets blocked. When it gets blocked, I lose access to one of the aspect of my bigger self, which is my soul. We are 10-dimensional being. I would lose contact from maybe one of those dimensions. And now I feel something is wrong. I don't know. I just feel lost. I feel empty. And now imagine I have lived like this for 3 decades and I have just not processed my emotion, or I don't even let myself feel it because I've been numbing myself. By this time, I am disconnected with maybe all of my dimensions and feeling lost and confused. So that is the story of most adults right now living in this high-tech world because we have too many distractions we can focus on. Depending on what school of thought you're studying, every school of thought has different emotion associated with different organs. What I study, or what I am studying at the moment, your kidneys would be fear. If you don't process fear, if you stay in anxiety, your kidneys are blocked, that you are also blocked from divine wisdom. Divine wisdom comes through kidneys. So whenever we are in fear, we are disconnected from our intuition. You cannot be an extremely afraid person and also connected with your intuition, because intuition happens when we are in that place of peace, joy, and love. That's why most of us, we try to go into nature. When we go in nature, we feel less anxious because the nature's frequency is changing our frequency, and it's easier to come to peace, joy, love. So sometime your best ideas will come in nature. Sometimes your best ideas will come in shower, because what's happening with the consistent flow of water in that moment, you forgot about whatever was going on, and you, for a few seconds, you come into peace, joy, love, that harmonious place, and boom, all the ideas are there. Lungs could be for anger. If you do have asthma, if your lungs keep having issues, pay attention to who you are angry at that you have not processed. Your liver could be sadness, it could be grief. So if you're having all kind of liver issues, pay attention to where the stuck grief is that you have not processed. And I'll show you how to process your emotions. Your stress lives in your pancreas. So that is another place. But in general, when our emotions are out of balance, our solar plexus chakra gets impacted and our navel gets impacted. So your GI tract system gets impacted. And also your hormones get impacted because your thyroid is getting impacted because of that. On kidney, we have adrenal glands, they are getting impacted because of that. And then we have, other hormones that are being produced by pancreas. Not to go into a biology lecture over here, but just remember this thing. When you numb your emotions, it come with a cost. You're almost telling your body, I don't want to deal with this flood right now. And when you don't deal with the flood right now, it always creates flood damage. Ask those homeowners who live in flood zone, if their basement gets filled with water and they don't take care of it right away, a lot of damage can happen. And that damage is happening within you all the time. But you can change that, you can switch that. Just a little bit more about emotions. When we don't process our fear, it turns into anger. Whenever I am angry, the root is some kind of fear that I have not acknowledged or worked through. And again, I'll be sharing with you how to acknowledge, how to work through. When that anger stays suppressed, it becomes depression. When we keep piling on that on the fear as well, it can also become anxiety. So some people are more anxiety prone, some people are more depression prone. It's almost like, we all have our flavor. My personal flavor is more depression than anxiety. I don't give myself permission to process my anger. So I always am mindful of that. Whenever I feel angry, I check in with myself and I go take myself through that process of working through it. Now, if you find yourself to be a very busy person and you don't have time for your emotions, just keep this in mind. If you want to feel lost in your life, definitely don't pay attention to your emotions. If you want to feel alone and if you want your body to start breaking down, definitely don't pay attention to your emotions. But if you want a healthy, soul aligned life, your emotions are your best guides. You don't have to ask anybody anything. You don't have to go ask somebody for opinion. It's all within you. It's all within your emotions and your connection with your body. That is what connects you with your intuition. Another aspect is whenever we are engaged with feeling, it's your heart chakra that is involved. It's not really your mind. Our unconscious mind is the feeling mind. When the feeling is activated, your unconscious behaviors are activated. That's why no matter how calm and cool-headed you are, when you get angry, maybe you'll start acting like mom or dad, how they acted when they were angry, and then you're shocked. Oh my God, how could I do this? Because unconscious pattern took over. Also, whenever you're suppressing your emotions, you're closing your heart. You cannot have a fully open heart center, heart chakra, if you're not in touch with your emotions, if you're disconnected with them. If right now I'm feeling sad and I don't work through it, my heart is going to close. So what starts to happen? You start to feel tight here. Start to feel heavy here. It feels like somebody's sitting on your chest. All those feelings come when you can feel that your heart is closed. And when our heart is closed, we disconnect from our soul's communication because that comes through our heart. And then we feel lost. We feel like, I don't know where to go in life. I don't know what to do in my life because you're disconnected from your own divine wisdom. So I hope I have, convinced you to pay attention to your emotions. So now let's dig into the 6 steps that we are going to talk about. So first of all, it's very important that whenever you experience an emotion, you acknowledge it. Especially in the beginning, if you're starting out, I would say just Google and get a list of emotion and start educating yourself. When I'm feeling this? Is it that? Whatever feeling I'm having in my body, is it anger? Is it sadness? And right away, if you are asking those questions, your body will cooperate. Your unconscious mind would help you. Which one is it? But it's important that you do have a list of emotions. When we like when you will Google, you'll find a very long list, but when we are using those terms in our day to day, we stay stuck with like, only few words. But as you educate yourself, there's so many ways you can describe what you're feeling and to the degree that you're feeling. I personally like to use a 1 to 5 scale or a 1 to 10 scale. So I know how bad it is. Okay, I'm feeling sad. Where am I on that sadness spectrum from 0 to 10? 10 being extremely sad. If I'm at a 5, okay, I can do this to transform my feelings in the moment. But it's very important that you educate yourself on that. You can read on some books just to understand which emotion you are feeling. But for in terms of processing your emotions, first label. One of the few ones that you will find all the time, you might be feeling angry, frustrated, sad, rejected, hopeless, um, broken, if that is a feeling or emotion. So those are the general words that us human use in the way we are describing how I'm feeling right now. Then the next thing would be let yourself feel it. Now, this is, my friend, where the real gold is. This is where we run away from. We don't know what to do because this is what happened. An emotion is like a storm. And whenever a storm happens, we feel out of control. We feel like there's this huge thing that's going to take over me. If you have never seen an angry person, which none of us have experienced that, we all have been on planet Earth for a while. If you have experienced an angry person, it's like there's surge of energy that comes. And if you have seen people hurt others or you when they are angry, you're going to do everything in the fiber of your being to suppress it because anger equals bad stuff will happen. So I'm not even going to allow myself to feel it. So now what's happening? Think of a dam that is just being filled up, filled up. One day it's going to overflow. And the day it's going to overflow, that is the day you're going to explode. And it could be the explosion might happen at workplace. And then you're like, oh my God, I lost it at work. And now everybody could see I can lose it this way. And then we are embarrassed about ourselves. So this is how you're going to let yourself feel it. Once you acknowledge, okay, let's say I'm working with sadness right now. I'm feeling sad. Take a deep breath and feel where that sadness is in your body. Generally, it's below shoulder. For for most people, it's either in the stomach or in this chest area. Locate it and then amplify it. Imagine that feeling is spreading throughout your body and make it get bigger and bigger and bigger. Amplify it and let yourself feel. In that moment, your body would say, no, I don't want to feel it. But consciously, you can allow yourself to feel it because what's happening, we are taking in the energy, the message that came from the soul. We're saying it's received. If you never feel it, you're never going to process it. That energy would be stuck in every single cell of your body and it's eating up on your cells. That's why we start to get sick over many decades of suppressed emotions. When you are feeling that sadness, again, your body will say, don't feel it. Your mind will want to be positive. Allow yourself to feel it, but don't identify with it. Now, that is the key. Most of us, when we feel sad, we're like, oh my God, I'm feeling so sad. What's wrong with me? I'm feeling sad. Feel it. Don't identify it because emotion is a messenger. It's not you. It's not your identity. You're feeling depressed. You are not a depressed person. The problem happened when we start to identify with emotions, when we start to say that I am depressed all the time, I'm a fearful person, I am this, I am that. Change your wording to I experience fear often. That is when you're detaching your identity from those emotions. Sometimes that can become, especially if you have experienced anxiety as a child, now you're like, oh, I'm just an anxious adult. No, you're not. You're much bigger than your anxiety or your fears. You're much bigger than that. It's your job to figure out how bigger you are from that. So start speaking in a different way. Feel it, Do not identify with it. It is not a part of you. It's a messenger that's coming to you. It's a wave that's coming to you, just like a radio wave is coming, a cell wave is coming. We don't say I'm a radio wave or I am radio. No, I can hear it. Me and radio never become one. Me and radio never become wave, never become one. Same thing. Emotions are a messenger. It is not you. So give yourself just 30 seconds of feeling it. Just 30 seconds. You don't need to feel a lot, take a long time to feel it or sit with your feelings. Just 30 seconds of letting yourself feel the intensity of it. What is happening? You're lowering the floodgates and you're letting the water go. Do not hold on to your emotions. It's just a messenger. Do not kidnap the messenger and keep holding on to them. One day you'll have too many messengers in your body. And that is what's causing all kind of health issues in your body. When you receive the message, you let yourself feel it, but you don't identify it, you feel lighter. Because there comes a level of wisdom processing your emotions. Our human body is so strong that even if you give us the deepest, the lowest form of emotions, if we allow ourselves to feel it, it takes only 72 hours to process it. Ever since I started living my life that way, the craziest things can happen in my life, whether it be a heartbreak, whether it be a betrayal, somebody's cheating, lying, saying bad things to me, saying unfair things to me. 72 hours, my friend. The only thing I do for those 72 hours, I empty my day as much as I can. I do my best not to distract myself. Another thing, I do not allow myself to binge eat either or go to sugar. Those 3 days, I make sure I am staying away from sugar as much as I can because that is my go-to. We all have our go-to. It's good that you know what is your go-to way of numbing yourself, because sugar gives me that high. I forget about sadness. Now I'm a happy kid. We don't want that. We want to let our body process that energy. Now we have gone through acknowledging your emotions, um, letting yourself feel it, but do not identify it. Now the third thing is when you are going through that emotion, there is a story that is playing in your head. The story could be everybody is against me. What is wrong with me? I can never get something right. And the best thing you can do with the story is accept it. Accept the situation or accept the person or accept yourself. If the story is saying there's something wrong with me, yes, it's okay. Something is wrong with me and I'm okay with that. If the story is saying that person is wrong, whatever they are doing is wrong, just accept it. Yeah, that's who they are. When we try to change, when we expect it shouldn't be this way, it should be another way, whenever we involve should, that is when we are not receiving the message. Every message that comes from your soul, it comes to expand you. Every experience you have in this life, it is to expand you. World is not against you. World is for you. And world, like life itself, I'm not talking about world with people, life itself is for you. Life is always supporting you. There is no right or wrong way to go about in your life. You are always on the right path. You're always on the right track. You're always going in the right direction. Now, that in itself could be a mind-blowing concept for you to grab, because that's not how we are taught. So when you grab that story that is coming to you, you become aware of it. Most of the time, we are so lost in the emotion, we don't even ask, okay, why I'm feeling sad. There's a story in your mind that is feeding into that sadness, and you're becoming more sad and more sad and more sad. When you accept it, when you accept who you are, when you accept who other people are, when you accept what the situation is, and you don't want it to be any different, that is when you have opened the floodgates fully, and now all of water can drain and you can feel light. The next step I will invite you to practice is gratitude. Now, gratitude is, it's a word that we don't even understand what it is anymore because it's been overused in our life. Everyone tells us just be grateful. And we're like, why how can I be grateful in this moment? So we are going to tie it with acceptance and we are going to tie it with the message that your soul is sending you. We're going to feel grateful that I get to experience this expansion, whether you like it or not, it's for your own benefit. I am grateful that right now I'm feeling sad. I'm grateful that right now I'm feeling afraid. This is a layer over acceptance. I'm grateful that right now I'm feeling depressed because I know when I will pull myself out of it, I'll be a better version. I would have received the message from my soul. So do not use grateful in terms of be grateful you have it better than other people. No, be grateful for what you are feeling. If you have been a person who have lived their life mostly numb, for you to feel the sensation and connect with it is a gift. I know for me, I lived my life numb for such a long time. And now, when I feel sad, now when I forget, when I feel frustrated, when I feel angry, because for decades I didn't allow myself to feel angry. When that rage is building up in my body, I feel alive and I feel grateful for that. So, accepting and feeling grateful for whatever is going on in your life, again, it's opening the channels to connect you with your higher self. It's opening your heart. When we accept and we don't want the other person or the situation to be any different, we have our heart fully open. That is when we get access to gratitude. Gratitude does not come from here, it comes from here. It comes from your soul. I can I can try to make myself grateful from my head, but it's not really going to work because it's really coming from my heart. If my heart is not open, this is how I'll say, what is grateful about this situation? I'm feeling horrible. You might have heard yourself say it or other people say it. In that moment, their heart is still closed. They have not accepted the situation as a beautiful gift that's coming to them from their soul. Now, the last one is what other story you would like to tell yourself? I know there is this story going on, nobody likes me, and that's why I'm feeling this, that's why I'm feeling that, that's why I'm sad. What other story you would like to tell yourself from a place of acceptance and gratitude? Because what gratitude is doing, it's transforming the energy. It's taking the sadness and the high frequency of gratitude is transforming it into something else. Well, I can tell myself this story that it's not my job to listen to other people's opinion. Why I'm even listening to their opinion? What is my opinion about myself? And trust me, friends, that is my go-to all the time. Whenever somebody has an issue with me, I just ask myself, Alia, what do you think about yourself? Problem solved. If I have a bad opinion about myself, now that is where I need to do the work. If I am turning against myself, if I am judging myself, that is where I need to do work. But if it's coming from external, all I have to do is ask myself what story I believe about myself, what story I want to tell myself. And generally the story is, well, you're going to make mistakes, no big deal. How else you want to act? Leading with another question. And that can also lead you into how would you like to feel. So yeah, I started with sadness. There's a story. I'm not letting myself feel the sadness because, otherwise I'll be a sad person. I don't want to be a sad person. I'm resisting experiencing the vibration, the message that's coming to me when I accept. That's what I'm feeling. My heart open. I feel grateful for this experience. The energy is being transformed. And then I can tell myself, I would love to feel peace in this moment. And for anyone who's watching or who's with us right now, it is so easy to switch your emotions once you have processed it. Otherwise, we are faking it till we make it. We are pushing against a 1,000,000-pound boulder. We are living life much harder than it really is. Life is very easy. We have made it complicated because our mind likes to make things complicated, and most of us are stuck here. When I am in my heart, I can tell myself I would love to feel peace right now. How does peace feel? And I can start connecting with the energy of peace because it's always within me. Anger is always within you. Sadness is always within you. Frustration is always within you. Peace, joy, happiness is also always within you. Nothing outside of you have to change for you to get access to these emotions, these frequencies, these vibrations. They are already inside of you. You can invite them. When you build this habit of letting yourself feel whatever you need to feel, paying attention to the story, switching the story, asking yourself how I would like to feel, you're going to create such a quick loop of transformation. So now, whenever my son is not, putting on his shoes on time or getting late, my initial response is I want to feel angry and I want to yell, I want to feel frustrated. As soon as it comes, I take a deep breath, I let myself feel it, pay attention to the story, choose what else I'll like to feel, choose what else I'll like to tell myself. And my go to for that situation, because I have rehearsed it so many times, is going back to being calm and it's okay if we get late. It's not end of the world. Nothing is end of the world. But our ego that wants to be in control, that does not want you to let go of your control, it does not want you to lower your guards, does not want you to feel vulnerable because that could mean bad things will happen. It keeps you stuffing everything because it needs to be in control. But my friend, you are a divine being in a physical body. Ego belongs to your physical body. You can open your heart consciously. You can connect with your higher self consciously, and you can get access to your soul and its wisdom once you allow yourself to process your emotions. Now, if I just take this example of sadness, I'm feeling sad. My soul is sending me a message through this sadness. Your thoughts are off track. You're not thinking like me. You're thinking like a human right now. Think like me. Your soul is always trying to pull you up, but body always like to pull you down too. Body's like, I like being in this frequency. I have been in this frequency for decades. Don't take me out of it. It does involve some conscious work on your part. That is what we call inner work. So I hope this conversation has given you some, well, let me change my wording. I trust this conversation has given you some insight into how you connect with your emotions, how you're running away from your emotions, and also what chaos they are creating in your life by suppressing them. And if this is something you would like to dig deeper into and you would like to connect with deeper aspects of you, you can always reach out to me. You can DM me. You can go to my website, aliajamalcoaching.com, and I would love to be your guide and help you understand and stay in communication with your higher self. That is all for today. I'll be back next Thursday with more, sending you all so much love. Bye.